Hey, what's up guys, this is Sean from RevFit. So today is Thursday's Q&A. Got a couple questions today. First one is coming from Catalina. Her question is, how much protein should a plant-based eater have, and is protein powder enough? So this is a two-part question. So how much protein should a plant-based eater have? So someone who's following some kind of plant-based nutrition diet, whether it be a vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever form they're taking, they shouldn't be taking in any more different protein than someone who is on a different type of diet. What I mean by that is, if you're consuming a certain percentage of protein eating meat, you should be consuming the same amount of protein percentage while eating a plant-based diet. So people say, oh, but how do you do that? Isn't protein meat? And protein is not meat. So people who equate protein with meat, that's just, big business really promoting, consumption of meat as being the hero kind of thing when it comes to protein. But protein actually comes in many living organisms. Almost all living organisms has some form of protein. Now the protein you're going to get from plant-based sources are what we call incomplete proteins. And incomplete in the sense that you need to combine various proteins or various plant-based sources to get the full load. While meat has, many meats have, full proteins, they're complete proteins, they also have a lot of bad side effects, a lot of cancer-forming agents, and that's why a lot of people choose to not practice a eat-meat diet and rather a plant-based alternative. So for those who are concerned, am I getting enough protein, you can do some kind of food journal. A really good resource for this online is fitnesspal.com. I'll put the link at the bottom. And you want to track how much protein you're getting in percentage to your diet. So you should be getting 20%, 15 to 20% of your diet should be protein, no matter what your dietary habits are, okay? So if you're not hitting that 15 to 20%, then you should be concerned and think about, okay, how am I getting more protein into my diet? Whether it's getting more beans, or seeds, or nuts, or even, different kind of greens that have high sources of protein into your system. The powders are supplements. So if you feel like you're not getting enough protein in your diet because of restrictions of the day, or wherever, maybe your neighborhood you can't get access to things regularly, so you want to get some kind of supplement to help you out, or maybe you're training a lot and you're feeling like, all right, I need some more protein post-workout to replenish myself, and you're looking for something quick and easy, protein powders can be beneficial. But you have to be mindful that what the protein powder is made with. So those who are practicing a plant-based diet, I would say eat some kind of flax or hemp protein, and those are plant-based proteins. There's also some products out there, Vega's being one of the leading ones, and I'll put the link below. Some other guys who are getting some really good plant-based proteins. The other proteins like the whey powder and all those guys, they have a lot of dairy in them, so they're not fully plant-based because they have that dairy component. But again, check out the links at the bottom for more on that. Hector asks, how does changing one's tempo while doing an exercise affect your training? So if you're doing a push-up and say you're going for speed, right? You're trying to crank out a lot of push-ups. You're doing more of a power training, okay? You're training more the endurance of the muscle. Will you get stronger? Yes, but it's not going to develop any kind of hypertrophy or muscle mass, really. It's going to be more for, performance of, force production, getting the most force produced in the shortest amount of time. And that's what going for speed is. When you start slowing down the tempo on a push-up, for example, start going real slow, that's when you're starting to train a little more. You're training a little bit more strength, and you can do a little bit more muscle gain during that. So if you you're just starting out, you want to do a slow tempo, because when you're just starting out, you're trying to get the joints nice and strong. If you're trying to do some kind of strength training, you want to go somewhere for a medium tempo. And if you're doing some kind of power or endurance training, that's when you want to go for a fast tempo. Okay, Tamikwa asks, what can I do to shrink my hips and my lower half back into place post-pregnancy? So Tamikwa, congratulations on the second baby. Great ways to train post-pregnancy. Well, first of all, let's talk about why one has a pouch or a pooch, whatever you refer to it, post-pregnancy. You want to make sure, if you are planning to become pregnant, or even if you're not planning, once you're pregnant, do not stop working out. Okay, working out while you're pregnant is super essential to be able to snap back into place once you you give birth. You know, a lot of things in society tell women to just kind of be, you know, weak and kind of, oh, when I'm pregnant, I'm just, you know, helpless. That's all garbage. Don't believe that stuff, okay? You want to work out, and you want to work out just as hard. There's some restrictions, obviously, so you want to consult some kind of expert trainer or some kind of doctor that might have understanding of physical training. And make sure that you're not doing anything harmful, like, you know, anything that's going to hurt the baby. But you want to train, and you want to train real hard. That's going to help maintain a nice structure, so that when you do give birth, it's actually going to be easier to give birth because you're stronger, so you have more muscles to help recruit and getting the baby out. And also you're just healthier all around, okay? Once you have the baby, there's obviously a lot of stretching has taken place. Not only on your skin, but your muscles. Alright, the female body is made to stretch out to allow for the baby to develop. So if you weren't working out regularly during the pregnancy, before the pregnancy, and you know, now you're trying to get back into shape, it's a little harder, definitely, but it's not impossible. What you have to start doing is you have to start strengthening your core from the inside out. Okay, so what that means is that the muscles in your core, right, the ones that are around your spine, those are the ones you have to start strengthening up again first. Once you get the inside nice and strong, then you can start going to the outer layers, the more aesthetic part of your core, right? Your abs and your lower back and all that stuff. But if you don't start with the inside, you're not going to be able to get rid of that pouch and get rid of that weight. Obviously, diet plays a big part in this, but things like you know, bridges for your lower back and your core, planks, all those kind of isometric workouts for your core. You know, cat dog kind of stuff, yoga, all that stuff is going to be really great to help bring you back into the shape you want. Next question is from Camilo. Camilo's question is, what's the best way to burn fat in the midsection? The best way to burn fat in the midsection is nutrition. Okay, so there's no, you can't do 100 crunches, 1,000 crunches and lose fat in your midsection. That's not what burns fat. Okay, the fat that's in your midsection is visceral fat. That's some of the hardest to get rid of, and is also the most dangerous, right? That's where a lot of people get high cholesterol. Men, you got to deal with stuff like you know, stuff with your prostate and all that stuff. Once you start gaining a lot of weight in your midsection, diabetes is coming from the insulin levels being messed up because of the visceral fat. It's really hard to get rid of, but it all comes from nutrition, okay? Really clean up your diet. Make sure that you're eating nice clean meals, getting stuff that's going to help increase your metabolism, burn that fat, nice healthy fats like coconut and nuts and all that good stuff is going to help with burning the visceral fat. Alright, next question is from Elena. Elena's question is, what do you recommend? Almond butter, peanut butter, soy butter, etc. So this is real interesting because many times the butters that are made, that are produced and mass produced, are actually, they're the worst nuts, you know, in the pot kind of thing. So they have a conveyor belt of all these peanuts rolling down, and they pick out the worst ones, and those are the ones they toss in to make the peanut butter, because they're less visible and you don't have to worry about how they look aesthetically because they're going to be grounded and mashed up. Peanuts form mildew very quickly. Most of the peanuts that are on the market today are actually not good for consumption. So I would actually stay away from peanuts and peanut butter. Almond butter would be the better alternative. But even then, I would try to get your own almond butter made. You can go to local markets like Whole Foods and stuff like that, and they have those grinders where you can visually see which almonds you're grinding up, and those are really the greatest alternative. There's also no added oils. It's just the natural oils from the nut, kind of lubricating things, which is really good. Soy butter has a lot of estrogen. Soy is not the greatest thing for you. So out of those three, I would say almond butter. Next question is from Jenny Sinner. Jenny's question is, eating and cooking with oil, olive oil versus coconut oil. So the question is, you know, around the issue of cooking with oil, eating with oil. So anytime you cook oil, that's bad. Never cook oil. I know, you know, from many of us from day one growing up, you know, you add oil to everything, you cook things in oil. you fry things in oil, all that stuff is really horrible, okay? There's a lot of cancer properties once you start cooking up that oil, and it can do nothing but harm to you, okay? The oil is just gonna do a lot of bad things to your insides, a lot of bad things to your skin. It's not worth it. Many people think, oh, but I'm cooking with olive oil or I'm cooking with coconut oil, so that's better. Yeah, it's better, but it's still not good. Okay, cooking olive oil, cooking coconut oil, none of that is good. Do not cook with oil, okay? Cook with some natural stuff. Put olives, the actual olive inside your rice and cook with that stuff to get the lubricating factor from the oils of the olive. Don't get this processed stuff, right? All oils are super processed. That's how they become oils. They extract the fruit or whatever it is that they're getting the oil from. They extract it all together and just get the oil component, and they lose a lot of nutrients in that process. And depending on who's processing them, they can be, some are even worse than, you know, I mean, you see some cheap olive oils out there right now. There's probably not a lot of good benefits to those. Okay, if you had to pick an oil though, oil you should be adding after you cook your meal. Like if you can't wane it out and you want to just kind of use it in there a little bit, using sparingly, I would obviously go with the coconut oil as being one of the better ones to use. Olive oil if you have no access to anything else, but really just try to eliminate it altogether. You know, the oil rather is just going to sit at the bottom of your stomach. It's empty calories and not providing much nutrients, if any. It's just not worth it. Okay, so that's today's Thursday Q&A. Of course, tweet me at shawnrevfit all your questions so we can answer them next Thursday. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks, guys.